Hoy en Washington no hay calma, hay incendio. Y lo más revelador es que el presidente Trump ni siquiera está en la Casa Blanca para apagar nada, porque sabe que su propia gente está rompiendo filas. Renuncias, amenazas de despido, traiciones internas. MAGA está en una guerra consigo misma, y esa implosión le está explotando en la cara al presidente.
Said that congressional Republicans are, quote, going to get a lot of people retiring. Punchbowl News, run by Jake Sherman, who has excellent contacts in Congress, reports that Republicans believe they have no chance of winning the House of Representatives next year. That's what Republicans believe, and they blame two people, Donald Trump and Mike Johnson. Quote, a few other GOP members messaged us over the weekend saying that they too are considering retiring in the middle of the term. Here's one particularly exercised senior House Republican, quote, this entire White House team has treated all members like garbage, all. And Mike Johnson has let it happen because he wanted it to happen. That is the sentiment of nearly all appropriators, authorizers, hawks, doves, rank and file. The arrogance of this White House team is off-putting to members who are run roughshod and threatened. They don't even allow little wins like announcing small grants or even responding from agencies. Not even the high profile, the regular rank and file, random members are more upset than ever. Members know they are going into the minority after the midterms. More explosive early resignations are coming. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel, and they will lose the majority before this term is out. That's not a reporter summarizing what the reporter has found. That is a senior House Republican putting it in writing, in a text, saying members know they are going into the minority after the midterms. It's a tinderbox. Morale has never been lower. Mike Johnson will be stripped of his gavel. In other words, the senior House Republican who wrote that is a rational politician who can see that insane policies that hurt voters will hurt the party supporting those policies.
Lo que acabamos de ver es devastador para cualquier gobierno, pero para Trump es peor, porque mina el único pilar que él necesita para sobrevivir, la ilusión de fuerza. Y esa ilusión se desmoronó. No es la prensa, no son los demócratas, no son los enemigos del pueblo. Es su propia gente diciéndole que ya no creen en él, que ya no confían en su capacidad, que seguirlo es un boleto directo al fracaso político. Y mientras esa tormenta se desata, Trump hace lo que mejor sabe hacer cuando huele peligro: desaparecer. Canceló eventos, canceló apariciones, canceló todo. El presidente que presumía estar siempre trabajando decidió encerrarse en silencio junto en la semana en la que la prensa reconoce su deterioro mental, su cansancio crónico y su incapacidad para sostener el ritmo del cargo. Y hablando de eso, vamos con el siguiente clip porque explica por qué esta retirada de Trump no es un descanso, es un síntoma del colapso.
Heading into the holidays, Donald Trump in the midst of what is clearly, measurably, the worst month of his second term, and usually presidents face this kind of hell month later in the term. So it's bad news coming earlier than usual, which is also bad news, as there are cries of a lame duck presidency. Consider within the last day, Trump's revenge cases completely blowing up. And remember, this is not like they made it to trial and James Comey found sympathetic jurors. This is not like they made it to jury selection and something changed. This, by any legal timeline, was a fast failure. And if you're counting, I've mentioned this in our coverage, there have now been 3 losses for Trump, 3 cases against foes, his perceived foes, that have completely fallen apart, and 0 wins. New polls show anger over prices. Americans more upset than the end of Biden's term. Trump's job approval crashing to record lows. As you see, it stacks up on the screen. But we're not done. We are in the middle of this month. Trump also faced that humiliating defeat with both parties telling him to stop hiding the sex traffickers' files. Some people in politics allege maybe Trump was involved, and early emails have him at least mentioned. Others say maybe he's not involved. But in this polarized moment, we have this rare unity where they all came together in Congress and said, enough, release the sex traffickers' files. Some people say they don't even want to know why Trump seems so intent on hiding them. And that means a deadline is now looming, stretching through this month into next, for Donald Trump's terrible November to comply. More Republicans defecting, some threatening to leave Congress. And if you go back 3 weeks, Trump lost when the Democrats had that election sweep. And that's how this hell month began for the president. You stack it all up, and even in these busy times with a million phone alerts, and what you see on your screen is overwhelming. Imagine if you were the politician at the center of all that. And those election wins or losses for Trump and his party, that was 3 weeks ago tonight. Though honestly, I don't know about you, could feel like a lot longer. And for Trump and his White House and the Republican Party, we know they think it's been a lot longer because they have been bruised every week since then. When you're dealt with bad news like that in politics, we all know the drill. You try to rebound, move on to something else. But all they've moved on to are defeats that in some ways were more robust, or at least involved more states, more representatives of more people in the Congress going after him on Epstein than the multi-state loss they suffered 3 weeks ago tonight. MAGA voices are not all denying this reality at this point. There are plenty of Trump defenders. We hear a lot about the loyalists, but a varied group of voices, including in our evolving digital media, right? You've got the live TV news, you got stuff on YouTube that includes traditional and new media, you got podcasts, you got social media. And so across this wider media audience, maybe in distinction from a place like Fox News, some voices with large audiences who are largely MAGA or MAGA curious, they see what's happening. They are facing the music even if Trump isn't. That includes the comedians, the podcasts, and even Fox vet Tucker.
And the Republican Party, which is almost to the point where it's just useless, and I'm going to have to oppose it because I hate them too much, but because they're such betrayers.
It certainly seems that he doesn't want these documents to come out because he himself will suffer some fallout.
Nothing I voted for happened. What about you? Are you happy with anything?
I mean, it sounds like a political wake. And because their audiences, especially Tucker, still include plenty of people who are conservative or Republican adjacent or MAGA, and labels can be simplistic, but you'll notice there's a tone there. They don't necessarily go directly at Trump and say, boy, he messed this all up. He had a good hand a year ago, and it seems like he blew it, spent the political capital quickly, and is still messed up on Epstein. They don't necessarily word it all that way, but that's not positive messaging, what you just heard, obviously, for Trump's Republican Party going into a midterms where Tucker's audience either is going to pull the lever for Republicans or hand the Congress over to Trump's opponents, the Democrats. Take another example, Michael Savage, conservative radio host. He was OG MAGA. He endorsed Trump early in 2016. In the first term, you could find him in the Oval Office. Here's Savage now.
I think the American worker.
Aquí se detalla el peor mes del segundo mandato de Trump. Derrotas judiciales aceleradas, casos de venganza que se deshacen antes siquiera de ir al juicio, encuestas hundidas, rechazo bipartidista por intentar ocultar archivos relacionados con un caso de tráfico, una ola de republicanos tomando distancia y un Congreso exigiéndole explicaciones. Para completar el cuadro, voces conservadoras históricamente leales, incluyendo comediantes, comentaristas y exfiguras de Fox, ahora hablan abiertamente del caso de decepción de un presidente que no cumplió absolutamente nada de lo prometido. Este último clip lo deja clarísimo. Lo que está ocurriendo no es un mal mes, es la factura de un proyecto político que se sostenía únicamente por miedo, y la creencia de que Trump era invencible, esa fantasía ya murió. El humorista conservador, el podcaster de derecha, el exaliado incómodo, todos coinciden en lo mismo. Nada de lo que votaron se cumplió. Lo que queda es frustración y cansancio de un presidente acorralado por sus propios errores, incapaz de enfrentar una sola entrevista sin delatar lo agotado que está. Y mientras el país se prepara para las fiestas, Trump se prepara para otra cosa: aferrarse al poder en silencio, rezando para que el público olvide las derrotas de este mes. No lo harán, ni su base lo está haciendo. Esto es Rumor de Estado.